Welcome to Sacred Magic. Vialet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Vialet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Vialet Rayne.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Vialet Rayne, and today my guest is Christina Joy Lotus. She's a teacher and a light worker. She's a Reiki practitioner in Reiki with the Violet Flame, Angelic Reiki, and traditional Reiki. She incorporates several styles of healing and light work by calling in the angels, guides, and ancestors to bring light to our lives and planet. She spent several years developing her gifts of intuitive healing and helping others on their personal journeys. She used her gifts and experiences to create a safe and fun environment for creating and discovering your talent. And for those that don't know, Christina is an active member of my mystery school and also of my community. So she teaches a couple classes at the center. She's been a student with me for several years. I forget even how long it's been so long. So I'm excited to have her on the show. So thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Violet, for having me, inviting me in. I've always enjoyed watching the podcast, so this is one of my first podcast recordings, so here we go.
Right, to be on the other side of the camera instead of watching it is always fun. So talk to us a little bit about your spiritual journey. What got you to doing what you do today? I know a little bit, but not deeply. Just talk to us about, your journey. What brought you to the center and what you're doing today?
Well, I think many of us that are on this path have stories that go back a ways, even before we realized we were on the journey. And mine's pretty similar in that perspective, seeing signs and signals and being led to things. But the more recent that put me in contact with Discover Your Spiritual Gifts and the community that you've built there started just after COVID. We were all locked down and so many things trying to deal with the stressors of not being in contact. Well, although for me some of it was a blessing because I'm a bit of an empath, and being able to just protect myself in and not be bombarded with that helped me go deeper and see that there was so much more to it than just a sense of anxiety or fighting down panic attacks, which, when I had that opportunity to discover things and realize that it was not necessarily always my emotions, it was other people's that I was experiencing, that benefited my life because it made the day-to-day so much better. I actually came into the shop. I Googled looking for crystals, which I had just started getting into the energy and frequency and vibration of crystals. And the center was just so welcoming. And I was like, okay, well, I've had some bad experiences here and there, and not quite certain I want to open up and what this is all about. The last thing I want to do is head down a path that really is not where I want to be. And so, as you said, I've been taking classes, and I started with a little one of this one and a little bit of that and tested everything. Some of the things that I found were some Reiki practitioners there at the center that helped me get past an injury and the chronic pain from a car accident in 2018. And it was the first time since then, even going through all kinds of alternative medicines, traditional medicine, that I wasn't in daily pain after a few of those sessions. And I went, wow, what is this? And that's when I started with Angelic Reiki, and then Reiki with the Violet Flame, and another teacher in traditional Reiki, because I was like, okay, I want to know more about this that took that pain away. Mm-hmm. Because I've always felt a calling to help others and be of service. And I was like, if I can do this for other people that these practitioners did for me, that's enough. Um, so finding the violet flame, by being in sacred priesthood in the mystery school, uh, that spoke to me on a level that I'm still discovering.
I love that.
More than although I love angelic Reiki and traditional Reiki, and I feel that they get incorporated in my sessions, but that transformational energy and being able to help people heal, find happiness, self-love, joy is, it brings that to me. I had some opportunities this weekend working with people, and I walked away after the sessions and went, wow, I got to be the vessel to them being in a better place now in their journey, in their healing. And that was so moving for me. I mean, it's not me doing the work. I'm simply the tool in the vessel. But to know that they left with feeling better, with feeling stronger and more at peace with what was going on in their lives, was worth more than anything.
Well, it's funny. I've been teaching Reiki classes since 2017. I've taken classes before then, and I talk to people a lot about, even this weekend, I was telling somebody because they're interested in Reiki, right? And she was asking about Reiki, and I said, well, I've done traditional Reiki, I've done non-traditional Reiki, I've done Karuna Reiki, I've done Angelic Reiki, Reiki with a violet flame, Fairy Reiki. I mean, the list goes on and on. I've done a lot of these Reiki classes. And I was doing a non-traditional Reiki class for several years. And I was like, okay, I want to amp this up. I want to do something different with it. I want it to stand out a little bit different than just Reiki. And so at the time, I had a practitioner in my center named Selena Leslie, and some of you may know her. And so I can't talk about this class without talking about her. And we were sitting around talking about, because I was going to create or enhance my Reiki program and have her teach it, but we wanted it to be a little bit of something different. Now, those that have known me for a long time, I have the violet flame painting in my center. It's been there since the very beginning, and I'm very connected to that violet flame energy. I've always had a really strong connection to Saint Germain as well, who is the divine being that gave us the violet flame. And so her and I were just chatting, and we're like, what about Reiki with the violet flame? And that program has expanded again and again and again and again over the years. Selena taught that class for a year or two, and then, her life took her in a different direction. And I sat it on the shelf for quite a while, and it really hadn't been touched for a couple years. And then Christina comes along and is really interested, and I teach the class, and she gets to take it from me. And she's like, I would really love to be the teacher of this class. And of course, then I sit down and I start expanding it again. I mean, I've had several people step into this class that I created from the foundation. And the books are like 200 and something pages now. They get bigger and bigger just to kind of show people, because I have one of them here. This is the book. This is level 1, and it's 300 pages, not 200, 300 pages for just level 1. It's gotten to the point I can't add anything else to it. It's more than what you can really take in one class. And I just finished updating level 2, and it's about the same size as this one as well. And so, the violet flame is transmuting. It's removing the old dead energy that we carry, not only from this lifetime, but from all past lives. And what people don't realize is we activate the violet flame in you so that the energy that flows out of your hands is the violet flame and Reiki mixed together, kind of blended. So it's really powerful. So I've always been excited about this class because I think it's amazing for anyone that wants to go deeper into the history of Reiki, the hand positions, the symbols, because we don't do that in Angelic Reiki. We don't spend a lot of time in those areas. This is kind of the foundation of some of those teachings, and that's what makes it really kind of amazing for people that take it. So, Christina, share with us a little bit, because the attunements are really different than some of the other Reiki classes. So, talk to us a little bit on your experiences with these attunements.
Well, one of the biggest differences in the different attunements is what goes on inside you after each of the attunements. With traditional Reiki, I felt it for a few days and was excited, and I could tell it was changing things. With Angelic, it was gentle and encompassing, and there were lots of messages that I had to sit with and meditate on. But with Reiki with the violet flame, after the attunement, the energetic cleansing that goes on inside of you for the 21 days. And I know that sounds like a long time, and in some ways it feels it, but when you get to the end of it, it's wow. Because so when you receive the attunement and you go through it, it's healing inside you so that you can take this and bring this forward at the first level to keep healing yourself. And that's why that cleansing goes on for more than just the class time, like in the other forms. So with those added days, you go through each of the chakras being opened and aligned and unblocked. And then it goes back through again in the 7 cycle to open them further. And as you get towards the end of it, you've gone on this bit of a roller coaster. You've had to spend time in the energy to support the healing, but you come out the other side a stronger, better person to start with, which then in turn through level 2, when you start working with others, allows you to be a stronger, better practitioner to help them on their healing journey with it.
I love that. I love that explanation. The other thing is we take you back to the Violet Flame Temple of Lemuria, and that's where the attunements are done, is in that dimensional state, which is really powerful in itself because it's a reminder that you've been there before, that you've had this experience before, that it's not your first time. And Saint Germain does all the attunements, which makes it really, really powerful in how we receive it. So I love being able to do that. I know when people take Angelic Reiki, because I'm the one that teaches Angelic Reiki, I get lots of questions on the symbols. I want to know more about the symbols. I want to know more about hand positions and laying on a table. And this this program allows, excuse me, my allergies. I have them all year long. My daughter laughs that I always talk about my allergies. But we lay the client on a table, and it's a longer session where we're clearing the aura, the chakras, we're doing the healing process, all from more of a traditional way of doing it, versus those students that have taken Angelic Reiki. It's usually done sitting in a chair and it's very quick. This is a little bit longer it's a longer session laying on a table. And some people like that because it's their opportunity to do some self-care and relax and lay on a table and be part of it. So I love that part too. The violet flame is so powerful, and we spend so much time learning about the violet flame and the different invocations and how to bring them in. We've also had lessons where people go out and try to use it multiple times during the day and get really overwhelmed because it's really more powerful than you think. And so being very conscious of each time you do that, you're doing a major cleansing. So if you do it 15 times in the same day, you might be an emotional mess at the end because you're just piling that stuff on over and over again. And it's more powerful than you think sometimes. So, Christina, what have you utilized that violet flame for? Because I know you've been working with it for quite a while.
Well, the first is working with myself and some of my past life and interdimensional healings and ancestral healings, which I had already been working on. But once starting to work with the violet flame, trying to think, it didn't necessarily get easier, as in it was snap and it was done. I still had to do the work, but it flowed instead of feeling like a struggle to do the work. Because sometimes when we're healing, we know we need to heal, but we're resistant and we go, oh, I just don't want to have to necessarily deal with that right now, but I should. And one of the memorable and magical things with violet flame is it goes in there and it helps transform that and remove that block or that hesitation and that fear of the pain that it's going to open. And I have seen so much in my family and my close friends around me as I've done this work, that even without working with them one-on-one, that it's just changed. We learned that when you ancestral heal, it's 7 years in the future and 7 years in the past. And then connecting with ancestors later, actually seeing them as the way they were really meant, instead of the troubled life that they led because of all these ancestral issues that my line has had, has been amazing to see the transformation in my children and myself and my mom. And then my grandmother has already passed, but to know she's beside me with it and in such a better place than she was when she passed, right afterwards. And to know, I visualize it sometimes in my meditations, and it was a family tree when I started this. Literally, it was a tree, and the tree wasn't leafing, it wasn't budding, it was there just struggling to hang on. And now it's an orchard.
I love that.
So that all came with when I stepped in and embraced working with the violet flame. You mentioned also with the attunement, and I don't know why I forget this, but the going to the temple of violet flame in Lumeria and our healing rooms that we go into. And after each attunement and the experience that I've gone through, that healing room changes. And so each time I go in for that and come into it, it's a little different. But each time it's like stepping into this warm embrace that's just waiting there for me, to heal on my own, to recharge, for Saint Germain to be there, and not just the attunement, but to be a guide in how I move forward. And his words of wisdom, his incarnation as the magical side in Merlin, and then the Christ consciousness with love and peace and joy for it within yourself and within the world, is all waiting there for you.
I think that's awesome. The truth is, for most individuals, they don't want to step into healing. They're comfortable with who they are, where they are. They understand what's going on. And when you talk about, hey, we all need healing, people are like, no, I got it. I'm good. I'm in a good place. I don't need that. The real truth is we all need healing. It can be hard. And sometimes where that shows up for us is if we feel stuck or blocked, or we keep repeating the same cycles over and over again, the same type of relationships, the same experiences over and over again. If you start to see patterns in things with like, okay, I have done this like 4 times already. When do I learn the lesson? And I hate the word lesson, but when do I move through this experience so that I can move forward to something else? And the violet flame helps release some of that heaviness, because we've talked about the ancestors. We carry a lot of their load, but we also carry our own experiences through many, many lifetimes, as well as this experience. And sometimes we can be so blocked and stuck and not really understand what that is until we start some healing and start what I call unwinding the energy that we've created, so that we can have a better understanding of what that root cause is, what brought us to this place to begin with, so that we can move through and integrate that healing so we can move through the experience. And I love that the violet flame creates that opportunity for people to do that. So I would say anyone that wants to just add another tool to their toolkit, another form, because you mentioned earlier, when you do sessions, this stuff comes through. When I do sessions in my divine healing, I do angelic Reiki, Reiki with the violet flame, fairy Reiki, Kuan Yin Reiki, right? I'm doing all of that Reiki all at the same time, and different needs have different energies. And so they step in and it makes it really powerful. So whether you're new to your path and you just want to learn Reiki or to learn self-healing, this is perfect. Whether you've done several different types and you just want to add another one, this is perfect. Whether you want to understand the violet flame more, this is a great class. If you find that you resonate with Saint Germain and you have this pull, this is a great class because you learn more about him as well. And so it has a combination of lots of great things all in one thing. So, we offer level 1, level 2, and eventually we'll offer level 3. I'm so excited to have Christina teaching this class, and I know she's excited to teach it. We've made lots of plans for this class, and so we look forward to seeing the students step in. So, what I would say is, if you have questions, if you have things you want answered, reach out to either one of us. We'll be happy to answer those questions, as we both have taught this class, or Christina is going to teach it, but we both have the knowledge to kind of help answer those questions. So I'm excited to see where this goes for Christina. And you could definitely check out all the information. We'll give you the website where you can go a little deeper, where you can see the class schedule and all of that. And we also, offer it if you just want to try it. Christina also loves to give people a little sample so that they can try a little bit of this and have an idea of what it feels like.
Absolutely. I'm open. The I feel called to spread this as much as possible, because I've seen what it's helped with me. I've seen others in the earlier classes with me, and seen the changes in them, even if they don't always, because we're always the last ones to realize the changes happened.
Mm-hmm.
We're hardest on ourselves, but to see someone become more confident in who they are and more willing to share who that is. And like you said, people are hesitant on healing for different reasons. Rather, it's getting past the blockage, or they really are happy where they are at the moment. But healing isn't just about fixing a past wrong or moving past that. It's also about moving to a higher frequency. in our lives. Every emotion, good or bad, has a frequency. Love has a frequency, joy, happiness. And all of those are choices to move towards that frequency and actions that you take to follow those choices. And that's one of the things I love with Reiki with the violet flame, is it does transform and move that frequency to move you closer to that intended frequency. And that's different for everyone where they want to be.
I love that. I
But
love that. That's absolutely true. So I love that. Well, Christina, thank you so much for taking the time and joining me today on this podcast. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come and talk to us about this class and what you offer. So thank you so much.
thank you so much for having me and letting me talk about a passion that I sometimes feel that I get started and people get bored with. So
No, we love people's passions. That's why we do this show, so that we can share people's passions. Thank you, everyone, for watching Sacred Magic Podcast. Follow us on all of our channels, like and comment. It helps us grow our community, and we love to hear your comments back. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you soon. And I hope you have a sacred and magical week.